Hey guys, now you can follow me on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/UltraMaximusReviews.
Oh, don't move, sir!
Here, eat him. He sucked. You're terrifying. Hello YouTube, Ultra Maximus back with another toy review, and today we're taking a look at a figure from the upcoming film Jurassic World: The Fallen Empire, and it's the Indoraptor by Mattel. I found this at my local Walmart, so they're starting to put out the Jurassic World figures, which there are some really cool ones, and there's some very basic ones. There's a T-Rex I definitely want to pick up that has some really cool attack and roaring actions, and they had this, which this was a must pick up for me. Much like, I think the genetically engineered Raptor Rex from the first Jurassic World movie was the big bad. I think the Indoraptor is going to be the big bad in this upcoming one. It looks like another genetically engineered dinosaur, this time more raptorish, and it looks really just mean and vicious, which is really cool. The other thing that is very different is this is by Mattel. So Hasbro has apparently lost the licensing rights to it, and they've gone with Mattel, which is interesting because I thought the Jurassic World 1 figures were really cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. So here we have the Indoraptor in packaging, and it's an open blister pack that you can actually grab a hold of the dinosaur. A lot of the larger scale dinosaurs are that way. This figure here, this retailed for $19.99, and the T-Rex, which I think is in scale to this, well, it's not actually in scale to this one. They had a really big T-Rex in scale to this one. That was, I think, $49, and then the T-Rex I was looking at was $29, which I think looks really cool. It's very compatible to this one as far as features go. Now this thing looks really cool, and the big stink about this is this has a lot of articulation, that is movie accurate posing, which is very cool. I'm very excited to take a look at that. We get the Jurassic World logo right here, and the interesting thing, it doesn't have the Fallen Empire, it just says Jurassic World. And some of the other figures that they had, like there was a lot of Imaginext figures for the new movie that look really cute, and I may have to pick some of those up. They also just have the Jurassic World logo, but some of them have the Jurassic Park logo, which I thought was interesting. We get a picture of Chris Pratt down here with Blue. It looks like he's in a type of cage, which is very neat. Top of the package has the Jurassic World logo. Side of the package, Jurassic World. Again, it kind of looks like a cage, and there's some rain and trees and all that kind of good stuff. This side the same way. We get some trees. He's in a cage, the logo. And then at the bottom it says, hey, there's some assembly required. Got to put the tail on there. So yeah, just kind of a close-up of the artwork. Looks really cool. Definitely digging that. There she is, I guess, in the package. Logo there. We'll get the rain. There's some trees back there. This side of the package, again, it just kind of looks like a cage, which is pretty cool. Definitely digging this artwork. Very cool, very metallic, and just very utilitarian, which is very neat. Back of the package here, not much really going on. We've got the Jurassic World logo up here. It shows some other figures that you can get. These are the smaller, more base scale figures. And then it just says movie authentic posability. It doesn't give you a write-up, which is a bit unfortunate. And then it's got the raptor in kind of an upward pose like when they call in the films, which is pretty cool looking. And then we've got the raptor. Looks like it's crawling around on all fours, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if that's something we're going to see in the film itself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Which, you know, it works. Looks pretty cool. Definitely neat. I think it looks awesome. I'm very excited about the posability. So let's go ahead and get the Indoraptor out of box and see what we think. Here we have the Indoraptor out of the packaging, and I gotta say, this is the Marvel Legends of dinosaur toys. Mattel did a really good job with the articulation on this figure. If they would put this amount of articulation into their other action figures, like their DC figures, then they would really be giving Hasbro a run for their money. Now, while as impressive as this figure is, there are a few minor gripes that I do have with the paint and a little bit on the articulation itself. I just can't be satisfied, can I? First up, I do like the paint scheme. I don't know what this character is going to look like in the film, but it's black and it's got gold and copper scaling down the side. Very snake-like, which is very cool. But the rest of the figure is very glossy. I don't care for that. I guess, kind of looks a little snake-like because snakes can be very, very glossy looking from their scales. And I don't know, I just see dinosaurs more akin to birds than I do reptiles. And, well, some, I guess, birds have a gloss to their feather sheen as well, but I wish this was more matted. But if it was going to go for this gloss, I kind of wish I hear indigo or Indoraptor. I think of indigo. I think of, like, blues and purples. I think of, like, a peacock's feather. I would like to see that kind of paint scheme through here. But then again, I don't know what this dinosaur is going to look like in the film. So I guess we'll find out and see how accurate this really is. There is some red on her eyes up at the top. She got a little bit of mascara. I like that. I kind of wish there was more going back towards the back of the head. Again, I guess we'll see when the actual film comes out. And then the only other gripe I have is the tongue in the mouth. And that it's just a little too bright red. It needs some black wash to kind of dull it down a little. And those are the biggest gripes on paint, and that's really not much. So the only other gripe I've really got is articulation, and it's in 2 points. One is in the ankles down here. I wish there was some articulation down there. Those are the only points really that there aren't any articulation, and they may have done that for stability's sake. If they didn't put an articulation point down here, I wish they would have made the toe claws retractable, and I think that would have been very, very cool. The other is this tail piece. Be aware of this. It needs to be pointing down when you plug it into the back. You cannot twist it all the way around. It will try to separate and break the back end piece. It can go to the side a little bit. And I wish this had 360 degree turn all the way around to get this piece to go any way that you want to. I think that would have been a lot cooler. But that's it. Those are really the only gripes I've got on the figure. Other than that, I mean, this thing is loads of fun. So let's look at all the articulation points, shall we? So, okay, the head, we'll start here. The jaw, obviously articulated, goes up and down. There is an articulation point at the upper head. It spins all the way around if you so wanted to, so you can get some very dinosaur-y looking bird-like looks, like, what are you doing? There's also a joint here at the shoulder. Again, goes all the way around, and it's got a lot of wiggle room, so you get lots and lots of articulation. Definitely digging that. The shoulders go up that far. They twist all the way around, which is a very nice, again, nice motion. The elbows are the same way. They hinge that far down, they go that far up, and then they twist all the way around. The wrist, same thing. Hinge up, hinge down, twist all the way around. Very, very nice. I wish there was, I guess another gripe, I wish there was a twist at the waist there. That would have been kind of cool. These spikes here are like rubbery, which is interesting. That's a hard plastic. That's a solid plastic. Solid plastic, very similar to arms and legs on Marvel Legends. The legs. Okay, so these twist all the way around as well. And then they do have some outset. So they go in that far and they come out that far. Very, very cool. The knees here twist that far back, go that far forward, and again they twist all the way around. And then this knee joint goes that far back, goes that far forward, and again twists all the way around. The tail, it moves that far, I guess be better, that far that way, that far that way, goes down that far, goes up that far. So it's got a pretty good range of motion. And then this piece here, this goes up back and forth like that, up and down, and then you get a little bit of twist, and that's about it. Again, I wish this twisted all the way around like the rest of the joints, but as you can see, you can get this into some pretty good poses, which is very nice, and it's pretty darn stable. There's also, looks like a circuit of some kind on the bottom for an app that will be a part of the movie, I guess. Which is a very, very cool, but man, this thing is a fantastically articulated figure. The one thing I kind of wonder how well the joints will stay together as you play with it and pose it around. It does feel, especially in the legs, like the joints could get loose, so there might need to be some floor polish used as this figure ages. So taking a closer look at the figure itself, I kind of have to do this a little differently than I normally do because he doesn't want to spin around on the turntable because he's kind of elongated and it's kind of hard to do close-up shots. So we'll do it the best we can here, but I really do like the detail. The sculpt is really nice. It does look very raptorish, which is very cool. I like the spikes on the back of the head. I think that looks cool. The copper and gold scaling, very nice. I wish we had a little bit more red on the eyes, and I wish the eyes were a different set color. Again, I don't know if we're going to see this paint scheme in the movie on the character or not. The mouth, let me just kind of open this up a little bit. Again, very cool, but it's a little too bright. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the camera. The teeth are a little sloppily painted. I would have liked to see that a little better, but they're very bone looking, which is very cool. Now, one thing I did notice looking at the figure as I start to pose it around, the underbelly of the dinosaur is flat black versus the scales. And when I get to the midsection, it really shows off how glossy the scales on the back are, and it gets glossier the further back you go. So it very well could be a very shiny, scaly dinosaur, much like a snake. Which, you know, that's not too bad. If that is the case, then I'll be fine with it. If it is not, then I'll probably gripe some more about it, but yeah, it is what it is. So looking at the midsection of the figure, again, we get the nice little stripe down the side, lots of detailing on the scaling, the nails look nice. He's got some, or she's got some little spikes on her forearms, which are very cool. And again, I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but the belly is very flat black versus the back of the figure. Which is very, very glossy. So lots and lots of black on the underneath, which, you know, is what it is. Very nice and shiny. Again, we get these kind of spikes back here on the back, which is very, very cool. Definitely dig that. That's definitely the feathers, I'm presuming, on the dinosaur. I just see that as kind of the purples and the blues. From like a peacock or a raven or something, that kind of color. But I guess we will see what it actually looks like in the film. Again, very shiny on its back versus the belly of the beast, which is interesting. So we will see what she looks like on film. And then finally taking a look at the lower half of the figure with the legs and tail. The scales of the gold and the copper kind of stop about halfway down the tail, which is fine. That's nice. I don't mind that at all. Again, very well sculpted around the feet. Very nice, very bird-like, large bird-like. Looks very like an emu or an ostrich would look, I think. The nails are pretty nice, but it's just all a flat black. I think that if we had some color variation, it would look a little cooler. But then again, like I said, you know, we don't know what it looks like on film yet, so who knows. The back of the tail, though, looks very much like a snake, which is cool. That is one spot I do like the glossiness of the scales. It picks up the light very, very well, and just looks like a black mamba or something to that kind of nature, which is very, very cool. For comparison, here we have the Indoraptor with the Tyrannosaurus Rex from the first Jurassic World movie. And as you can see, they're about the same length. This one's got a bit more bulk to it in the body, legs, and obviously the head. But the articulation on this figure is so much better than the old Hasbro here. And I really do like this figure. I still like it. I think it looks good. It just does not have the posability that this one here has. And let me just kind of see if I can get both of these. Let's see here. Let's get this one up front. Here, like that. And then let's put the T-Rex here. So yeah, they're really about the same length. Which is interesting. The T-Rex from Mattel, that is kind of the equivalent to this one, looks like it might be a little bit longer than this T-Rex is. I'll definitely have to pick it up and do a comparison with them. But yeah, this thing is really, really cool. But again, I really think Hasbro did a better job with the paint on these guys because it just looks more animalistic to me. It's a flatter paint than this glossy here, but then again, this could be glossy because that's the way it looks in the film. I guess we'll just have to see, won't we? And finally, just to compare the figure to some other action figures, here we have the Marvel Legends Iron Spider from the upcoming Avengers Infinity War, and we've got the Matty Collector Anti-Eternia He-Man, another all-black figure, and that's kind of interesting. But yeah, definitely a very large figure, very cool, and definitely a lot of fun toy for $20. So is the Indoraptor from Jurassic World, The Fallen Empire, something that you want in your Jurassic Park or Jurassic World collection? I'm going to say yes. While, you know, I complain pretty heavy on the black paint, just not enough color variation, this thing is wicked cool. It's so posable. It's not funny. I do have some very minor gripes about the posability, but for the most part, I think this may be the most posable Mattel figure that I own to date. I'm very happy with it. I was surprised that Mattel got the contract for the new movie, but with this figure, they seem to have done a very, very good job. I look forward to getting a few more of these dinosaur figures. They do have some base figures that don't have as much articulation on them, but I definitely want to get the T-Rex, and then I'll kind of go from there on what other figures that I'll pick up as I see them. I will say the Stegosaur looked really cool. The T-Rex has got electronic sound to it. There's another T-Rex. It's a lot bigger, but it doesn't look as cool as the one that's kind of in this scale. But this figure, price pointed at $19.99. I mean, it's the same price you're going to get on a Marvel Legend. It's way bigger than a Marvel Legend and has pretty much the same type of articulation you would expect, except on a dinosaur. And that's just awesome. I cannot wait for the film. Again, I think this is going to be the big bad dinosaur of the movie, kind of like the genetically engineered T-Rex Raptor we saw in the first one was. But this thing definitely should be a lot of fun on film. So there she is, the Indoraptor from the upcoming Jurassic World, The Fallen Empire.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, thumbs it up. If you hate this video, thumbs it down. To watch more Ultra Maximus, click on the links to the right. Don't forget to subscribe and share, like us on Facebook, and look for more videos in the future.